Khamzat Chimaev is tearing the pads in his training camp ahead of his clash with Dricus du Plessis, issuing a brutal warning to his opponent. Khamzat Chimaev's training camps are the stuff of MMA legend. The Chechen-born star follows a ruthless schedule, often training 3 times daily with no off days. His sessions blend elite wrestling drills, precision striking, and savage conditioning circuits designed to break limits. Coaches say his stamina seems inhuman, as he outworks every training partner. This merciless routine builds the engine behind his undefeated dominance. Chimaev's sparring sessions resemble actual fights. He pressures opponents from the first second, blending sledgehammer punches with relentless takedowns. Training partners report leaving sessions bruised and exhausted, calling it the toughest challenge in MMA. Videos show him ragdolling heavyweights, proving his strength transcends weight classes. These wars sharpen his killer instinct, ensuring he's battle ready for any opponent. However, Caio Baralho believes Khamzat Chimaev will defeat Dricus du Plessis because most fighters don't prepare correctly for Chimaev's style. He explains that while opponents train with wrestlers to defend takedowns, Chimaev doesn't use traditional wrestling, he uses MMA wrestling, which is different. Baralho stresses that to beat Chimaev, fighters must first understand his system and what he plans next, something he feels du Plessis hasn't fully grasped. He predicts Chimaev's unique approach will lead him to victory.
Khamzat fighting against Dricus, who do you think he wins?
I think Khamzat is gonna win because I don't see anyone preparing properly for Khamzat. They are bringing wrestlers to train them, to defend takedowns and all that, but Khamzat doesn't do the normal stuff. Khamzat doesn't do wrestling. He does MMA wrestling. It's different. You need to understand his system, what he wants next. You need to understand this first, and then you start to prepare for him. And I think Khamzat is gonna win for me.
Moreover, Darren Till strongly believes Khamzat Chimaev will defeat Dricus du Plessis before the 3rd round. He recognized du Plessis' dedication and unique fighting approach, but stressed that Chimaev's explosive strength and aggressive mindset give him the upper hand. Till mentioned he recently had a video conversation with Chimaev and intends to train with him in Dubai soon. The discussion ended with playful jokes between Till and Ariel Helwani about staying in shape and looking good.
You think he beats Khamzat, your boy?
No, look, with respect, I'm never going to look past Dricus because he trains hard, he's super dedicated, he's super strong, and he's got that awkward style that doesn't make any sense. I think Khamzat will beat him inside the 2 rounds, I really do believe that. But look, Khamzat knows, I was speaking to Khamzat on the FaceTime the other day because I'm meant to be going out to Dubai to help with the camp. Khamzat knows it's a tough fight, but, you know, Khamzat trains like a beast. I do think Khamzat gets it in 2 rounds done.
However, pain and fatigue mean nothing to Chimaev. He trains through injuries, ignoring discomfort to push harder. Teammates describe his mindset as machine-like, with an obsession for perfection. Even after vomiting from exertion, he immediately resumes drilling. This mentality creates a fighter who thrives in deep waters where others drown. Every drill has a violent purpose. Chimaev hones fight-ending sequences, from sprawls to submission chains. His coaches engineer specific sparring scenarios to exploit future opponents' flaws. By camp's end, he's a polished weapon, a storm of power, technique, and calculated aggression. When the cage door locks, Chimaev doesn't just fight, he unleashes months of stored fury. Moreover, John Wood predicts Dricus du Plessis will defeat Khamzat Chimaev at UFC 319, envisioning a hard-fought battle with momentum swings. He acknowledges du Plessis may face adversity, but believes the South African's unorthodox techniques, physicality, and improved stamina will prove decisive. Wood emphasizes du Plessis has overcome previous cardio issues and expects him to wear Chimaev down before earning a late stoppage, capitalizing on his size and durability in the championship rounds.
Again, kind of like the Pena-Harrison fight, I'm going to go with Dricus on this one. I'm going to go with Dricus in a gritty, dirty, nasty fight. He's going to have a rough couple rounds, but I think he's going to stick around. I don't think he's an easy guy to finish. It's an awkward style. He's strong. He's big. You know, cardio issues I don't think are a thing anymore. I think that he is going to get deep into that fight, and I think he finishes him.
Sean Strickland shared his perspective on the potential Dricus du Plessis versus Khamzat Chimaev matchup, drawing from firsthand experience. Having sparred with du Plessis, Strickland acknowledged the South African's capabilities, but stressed the wrestling challenge Chimaev presents. He noted Chimaev's elite grappling and deceptive setups make him particularly dangerous, something he's familiar with from his own training. While confident in his personal ability to handle such opponents, Strickland expressed uncertainty about du Plessis' capacity to defend against Chimaev's takedowns. However, he maintained that if du Plessis can effectively stop the wrestling assault, he has all the tools to secure victory in the striking exchanges.
Did you see DDP and Khamzat got announced?
Oh no.
Yeah,
Where's that gonna be at?
Chicago.
Oh no. They're letting the terrorists in.
Do you think he beats DDP or do you think DDP retains?
You know what's hard? So those little Chechen, dude, they can grapple. And like someone like me who I've been training with for years, I usually could counter wrestle and grapple them. So I just don't know if Dricus can be able to counter wrestle him. But if he can, I think he wins all hands down, you know. I sparred the Chechen, like hands down, I think Dricus wins. But it's just gonna come down to like, are you gonna be able to like counter wrestle? And like you can, it's not hard.
However, Khamzat Chimaev's sparring sessions are notoriously brutal, pushing his partners to their absolute limits. He attacks with relentless pressure, combining powerful strikes and explosive takedowns without hesitation. Training footage shows him dominating larger opponents, proving his strength and technique transcend weight classes. Partners describe these sessions as harder than actual fights, leaving them physically and mentally drained. His sparring partners must adapt quickly, or risk being overwhelmed by his aggression. Chimaev treats every round like a real battle, refusing to ease up even when exhausted. This unforgiving approach sharpens his instincts and conditions him for war. Few can match his intensity, making his training camp a true test of survival for anyone involved. Moreover, Din Thomas believes Dricus du Plessis holds the advantage if the fight extends into later rounds. He argues Chimaev may struggle when realizing du Plessis' durability and relentless pressure won't diminish as the rounds progress. Thomas emphasizes that real endurance stems from technical efficiency. While one-dimensional fighters fade, versatile athletes like du Plessis can strategically control the pace. He suggests du Plessis' complete skill set allows him to conserve energy while maintaining offensive output, potentially overwhelming Chimaev as the fight wears on.
Just goes into the championship rounds and he figures them out.
Yeah, I think that by the third round, Khamzat's like, all right, I don't really know. I can't, this guy's not going away. Wow. And also too, is if Khamzat does, let's say he does pace himself a little better, Dricus will just pour it on him.
Right.
So I think that pacing is a big factor. We always talk about this cardio thing, but cardio is really just being able to manage whatever pace you have based on the skill set you have. That's really what it comes down to. Like if you have a very limited skill set and you're forced to be in situations that you're not comfortable in, you're going to have bad cardio. But when you have a very well-rounded skill set and you can pace yourself better, you're gonna have good cardio. So, I mean, that's really what it comes down to.
Bo Nickel strongly favors Khamzat Chimaev in a potential matchup with Dricus du Plessis, citing Chimaev's aggressive grappling as a decisive advantage. The accomplished wrestler admitted some bias, but stressed how dominant wrestling has become in MMA, pointing to elite fighters like Islam Makhachev and Merab Dvalishvili as proof. Nicol noted even strikers like Robert Whittaker rely on wrestling fundamentals, reinforcing its importance at championship level.
I would, just based on the styles, I just think that the grappling style, I might be biased. I'm definitely biased, but I think the grappling style is so hard to beat, and it's so hard to defend against. And I guess if you look at it from a analytical point of view, you have so many. It's really become the dominant force in the sport. You got Merab, you got Islam, you got Bilal, you got Khamzat. You even have you can even look at Topuria. Obviously, people know he's more of a boxing style, and he does a lot more striking. But his background is wrestling. He did that before anything else, and so it's really wrestlers that are dominating, grapplers that are dominating the sport right now. And so I think that I would give the edge to Khamzat.
While acknowledging Chimaev's untested cardio in later rounds, Nickel highlighted du Plessis' proven endurance in 5-round fights. He suggested the South African could gain momentum if the bout reaches championship rounds. However, Nickel ultimately gave Chimaev the stylistic edge, believing his elite wrestling would likely overwhelm du Plessis before the later rounds become a factor. The analysis balanced Chimaev's potential stamina questions against his dominant grappling pedigree.
But we still have yet to see Khamzat ever fight a 4th and a 5th round. We've seen that from DDP, and so that's where he would have the advantage. If it goes deep, 4th and 5th round, I think that DDP might be able to pull it out. But all in all, I think the grappling style is definitely an overwhelming style to try to deal with.
However, Khamzat Chimaev has been preparing for his clash with Dricus du Plessis by also working closely with former middleweight title holder Luke Rockhold. The two have been engaged in high-pressure grappling workouts, pushing limits with a strong emphasis on wrestling technique. Rockhold's large frame, veteran savvy, and elite mat skills provide the perfect challenge for Chimaev as he readies himself for du Plessis' awkward and forceful style. These sessions are crafted to fine-tune Chimaev's ability to dictate pace, execute takedowns with precision, and maintain dominant positions round after round. This type of focused preparation could become the deciding factor if the matchup becomes a long, grueling contest. In addition, Chimaev has been putting in serious hours with Rockhold, zeroing in on wrestling fundamentals to get ready for the du Plessis bout. Their sparring has been intense, centered on controlling exchanges, improving takedown entries, and building cardio. Rockhold brings years of wrestling know-how and a physical edge that helps Chimaev refine the tools needed to outwork his opponent on the canvas. The drills they've been running are tailored to help Chimaev deal with the constant pressure and unpredictable movement that du Plessis is known for, making sure he's fully prepared for a demanding and hard-fought battle. Luke Rockhold thinks a potential match between Khamzat Chimaev and Dricus du Plessis would be a true test of opposing fighting styles. He describes Khamzat as someone who charges forward from the very start, applying non-stop pressure and leaning on his wrestling to take over the early moments of a fight. In Rockhold's opinion, if Khamzat can establish control right away and break Dricus down early, he stands a very good shot at winning. But Rockhold also notes that if Dricus manages to weather the early aggression and keeps himself from being smothered on the ground, things things could swing in his direction. He sees Dricus as a durable and determined competitor who tends to grow stronger as the fight wears on. According to Rockhold, if the fight stretches into the 3rd round and beyond, Dricus's endurance and late fight strength could become the deciding factors, possibly leading him to victory.
It's not always about the most technical guy, it's the guy who wants it more. And
How do you think he fares against Khamzat?
I think Khamzat is a go for broke kind of guy. Khamzat, if he can't out wrestle you, he can't control you in that fierce state of direction of what he does. I think he'll break. Khamzat will get him if he'll get him, but if he can't get him, it's going to be a hard 3rd, 4th, and 5th round.
Right.
I think that's going to be all Dricus.
So if it goes into the championship rounds, you like the champ?
Yeah, 100%.
Robert Whitaker acknowledged Khamzat Chimaev's strong takedowns and how hard they are to defend. However, he believes Dricus du Plessis is a tough and relentless fighter who is difficult to finish. Whitaker thinks if anyone can survive Chimaev's early aggression, it's du Plessis. His toughness and determination could shift the momentum of the fight, possibly leading him to victory.
Khamzat and DDP, the next fight. Who do you think is going to walk away as the champion?
I can't see anyone really stopping Chimaev's takedowns. His takedowns are so hard to stop. It's super high level. Can DDP drag it into those later rounds? Can it get through the first grappling exchanges and then start to capitalize on his just like persistence, like doggedness to go away? Honestly, if Chimaev can't get DDP out of there, DDP wins. DDP wins almost every fight. You can't get rid of him, right? Because he's like mold, dude.
Jamahal Hill admitted he's leaning toward Dricus du Plessis in the upcoming matchup, saying du Plessis has repeatedly proved him wrong whenever he counted him out. Hill thinks du Plessis holds the edge in cardio and raw physical strength, making him a nightmare for anyone in the division. He also pointed out that Khamzat Chimaev has struggled with endurance in later rounds. Hill emphasized du Plessis' unpredictable striking, which could help him land fight-changing shots. However, he cautioned against overlooking Chimaev, whose elite grappling can surprise even the most prepared opponents.
I probably favor DDP in that one, just for the simple fact of I've doubted this dude so many times now, and he's shut me up bad every time. It may look like he's like fatiguing or he's like slowing down, but he's really not. I think he's got the better cardio. His physical strength, I believe, can pose a problem for anybody in that division. We've seen Khamzat fade over the course of rounds before. I just believe Dricus has a really awkward way of throwing strikes that's not easy to time, get a read on. So I believe he will land. So I probably lean more towards DDP, but you can't count a guy like Khamzat out. I believe he's one of the best natural pure grapplers. He does have the ability to throw some hands too. So it's interesting.
Tim Welch shared his thoughts on the potential matchup, saying he would love to see Khamzat Chimaev fight someone like Sean Strickland in the future. He admitted Strickland would present a tough challenge because of his strong ability to get back to his feet after being taken down. Welch noted that Chimaev has shown improved composure in recent fights, especially when facing high-level opponents. However, he pointed out that Dricus du Plessis has a unique talent for getting under his opponent's skin. If du Plessis can frustrate Chimaev mentally, Welch believes the fight could become more emotional and intense, making it even more exciting for fans to watch.
I would love to see Khamzat versus Strickland too. Khamzat said in training, I submitted him multiple times. In a fight, it's a little different. And Strickland, you've seen Strickland get dumped before. He is an expert at getting up. He's really good wrestling, really good jiu-jitsu. But just like you said, can you survive the first 3 minutes with that dude? Gnarly.
That's fire.
I miss the crazy Khamzat, but now that he's getting into these top 5 elite guys, I mean, it's probably better that he's not crazy Khamzat.
Dude, I mean, that looked like crazy Khamzat to me.
All week being respectful of the press conferences, respectful of like everything.
Yeah.
It was a lot different than he used to be.
DDP has a way of poking at opponents too, though, so he might be able to pull that crazy Khamzat back out of him.
I'd love to see DDP beat him.
Demetrius Johnson shared his thoughts on the upcoming fight, stating that if Khamzat Chimaev can't finish Dricus du Plessis early, he might struggle with fading energy as seen in previous bouts. Johnson pointed to Chimaev's fights against Kamaru Usman and Gilbert Burns, where he had dominant positions but couldn't secure finishes. He believes du Plessis' unique physical attributes, including his long frame and awkward movement, combined with his non-stop pressure, could give him the advantage. Johnson predicted that if Chimaev doesn't find a way to handle du Plessis quickly, the South African fighter could take control in the later rounds.
If Chimaev cannot get him down,
he will. But yeah.
But let's say he does get him down.
Yep.
And he doesn't finish him, right? I think he's spent. Because you look at his fights. You look when he fought Gilbert Burns, when he fought Kamaru Usman. He had Kamaru Usman fully mounted, back hooks and everything, right?
Yep.
Working for the choke, pounding him, could not finish him.
Couldn't get him.
The rest of the time, he could not find it was shadow boxer. Granted, he might be sick or whatever.
Yep.
But if he cannot figure it out within those first 2 rounds, or the first round he gets him down, I think DDP is gonna do what he does best.
Yep.
He's gonna be awkward. He's gonna be ha ha ha, do the kicks, and I think DDP is gonna beat him.
Yeah,
like
I could see it.
I think Khamzat Chimaev is more athletic, more traditional, but I think that awkwardness of the old what did he say? The lanky man style.
Yep.
I think DDP is gonna put in the bag.
Brendan Schaub and Brian Callen shared their predictions for the upcoming bout. Schaub leaned toward Dricus du Plessis, particularly if the match extended into the championship rounds, where he believed du Plessis could dominate. Callen, on the other hand, sided with Khamzat Chimaev, citing his superior striking and wrestling skills. While both acknowledged du Plessis' durability, Callen argued this was Chimaev's moment to prove himself, though he admitted du Plessis could be a smart underdog pick for bettors.
UFC came out, speaking of dingers, UFC came out with some freaking bombs.
Really?
They announced Ilia Topuria, Charles Oliveira, Khamzat, DDP in Chicago.
Khamzat, DDP.
Who you got in that? Let's start with that. Khamzat, DDP, who you got?
I got
a feeling DDP wins that.
I have Khamzat.
I don't.
Yeah.
If Khamzat can get done the first round and a half, maybe, I just think that thing goes past the third and DDP takes over. I think he TKOs him.
I think Khamzat is a better striker, and I think Khamzat's a better wrestler, and I think DDP is a killer. But I think it's Khamzat's time.
Could be totally off on Khamzat. He's a minus 200. Dude, take my money.
Really? You got DDP?
Yes. Especially as a dog. I figured it'd be the favorite.
I have to say,
I figured DDP would be like a minus 150. Well, Khamzat, I look at the Gilbert Burns fight. You look at the Kamaru Usman fight. You're like, okay.
Yeah, but he did out wrestle Kamaru a lot.
That's it for today's video. So what are your thoughts on this? What do you think about their anticipated clash? We would love to hear your thoughts on this fight. So share your thoughts in the comment section and make sure to subscribe and like if you enjoyed the video. Also check out our other videos on the screen right now.